Sounds like we're coming in hot today.
We're coming in something.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Red leather. I'm trying to remember the other ones.
Yeah, like I said, the only vocal warm-ups I'm familiar with are ones for singing, which do work if you're going to speak too. But like, me over here going "ma me me mo moo" over and over again, like
Okay.
do a bunch of arpeggios just to get ready to go.
Sure. How's it going? It's been a while. A lot of things happened to me. Or around me.
Around you.
Are
you okay?
So far, yes, I am okay.
All right.
Yes.
The network was worried about you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, network. Misdirected Mark, I'm okay. For now. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I probably shouldn't make jokes about that. Yeah, Rona hit me hurt my life, at least. I didn't get it.
Good.
My sister did, and her husband, and their infant daughter. So for a while, I was just sort of numbing out because there's just nothing you can do. Like,
nope.
And even if they lived in town, there's just nothing I can do. Thankfully, they've recovered with no complications. Their little girl is completely fine too. Apparently bounced back way faster than they did.
Yeah, it's children are like that.
Yeah. So they're 100%. The world's been on fire for like a little bit. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice.
If you looked outside or...
I mean, the world
Twitter.
doesn't get caught on fire here because our air never gets that dry. But metaphorically,
and you're like pretty close to ground zero of shit catching on fire.
Metaphorically, yes.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Not literally. Literally, some things have been on fire because it's 2020. It's hell year.
Mm-hmm.
I received a delightful gift to myself in the mail yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
The day of the day they called the election. When was that? Friday?
I don't know.
It was approximately 7 years ago.
It was. It was a decade and a half ago.
This went viral, so I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about. An artist was like, I'm coping with this roller coaster of emotions by making a t-shirt, and all of the sales will go, like, all of the profits will go to basically into the campaign funds for the 2 Georgia runoffs that are happening in January.
Mm-hmm.
And this t-shirt managed to raise about $28,000 before the artist had to be like, I need to stop. This is becoming a tax nightmare for me. So I am now the proud owner of a safety orange t-shirt featuring Gritty riding a riding lawnmower and the Four Seasons Total Landscaping logo. And beneath it says, "We are not Four Seasons Hotel Philadelphia." And it was funny when I ordered it, and it's still pretty fucking funny.
While you were out, I had D fill in for you as sub-host.
Sub-host?
Sub-host.
Wow.
As in substitute, not as in beneath.
Oh, okay.
But I... Go ahead and take that in a weird way. And she called herself that.
Oh, okay.
So we've been doing kind of unscripted, like, long talks on mechanical stuff where we don't actually answer the question.
Of course not. No, this is bonus experience.
Well, hey, listen, our structured bonus experience shows do actually sometimes answer the question. Like, we have a thing like, what does this thing mean? And then we talk about what it means, or at least what we think it means. But these were just like, let's just chew the fat for as long as we feel like. Like how the first one was on social systems.
Okay. Yeah.
And we talked about like We talked about, because I played Bluebeard's Bride. Because I guess we're gonna shoot the shit about stuff we've played since the last time we talked.
Hey everyone, this is Bonus Experience.
Yeah, hi.
We're a podcast with a deeper look at the play experience and the finer details of running and writing games.
We're two queer women speaking with authority about games.
Yes, we swear.
Die mad about it.
I'm Ray.
I'm Monica.
We're industry professionals.
We sure are.
It's been a bit, and it sounds like we're about to just sort of like do it. So I went ahead and did our intro. I hope that's okay.
You did do the intro, and you did the intro from memory, I hope.
I sure did. It's only been 3 years. We may as well get it right.
I think that's the first time we've ever gotten it right. So
we did a fucking great job.
Yeah, we did.
Can we just take a minute to talk about what a great job we did on our own intro?
I'm so proud of us that we just finally managed to do our own intro correctly.
We've come a long way, baby.
From memory, which we can't do when it's right in front of us.
No, it trips me up. I get nervous. All right, so you've played Bluebeard's Bride.
Yeah, I got to play Bluebeard's Bride for an AP for the Story Told podcast, which is still not out yet as of the time of this recording. But I really liked it, and it was scary, but in a fun way.
I'm so scared.
It's scary.
Okay.
Tangentially related, the other day, H asked me if I had seen Alien or Aliens, and my response was, no, it's scary.
You've never seen Alien or Aliens?
No, it's scary.
I mean, it's pretty scary, but it's also really good.
Yes, I know I know they are masterpieces of cinema, but it's scary.
It's scary.
It's scary.
The alien queen gonna get me. Please.
But anyway, yes, I played Bluebeard's Bride, which is really, I did a whole episode with Dee about like how Bluebeard's Bride's mechanics specifically curate an intentional type of conversation. Because like, let me just rehash some of these things for Ray that anybody who's listened to that episode has already heard. But
this is
Ray
a recap episode.
It's a recap episode slightly. So like, Bluebeard's Bride, I'd always been badly sold on. Like someone has always been like, oh, it's this like misery tourism game about dying as the serial killer's wife. Bleh.
Okay,
and what it actually is just a game about telling a very scary ghost story.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. So like, it's not. I'd always been like, oh, it's depressing. You can only die at the end. But like, the point is that everybody buys into the horror of you being doomed or escaping, but at a cost. You know, like,
right.
And it is literally mechanically tuned so that everybody tells a ghost story together.
That's cool.
It's really cool. And
that's cool as hell.
There is a meta rule called Shiver from Fear or Shiver with Fear or something like that, where when the human being playing because you don't play different characters, everybody plays an aspect of the bride's psyche.
Okay.
So you are collectively a group of people steering the horror movie protagonist through the story.
Cool.
And like, all of them are also sort of reflections. Like, there's also got this like really kind of brilliant but heavy layer of like, all of them are also reflections of like how society puts certain expectations and impetuses on women and like polices their body and their thoughts and stuff like that, because each one of you defines a certain part of the bride, and then you also have to say like, what do other people dislike about your face? Like, literally. So like, there's this whole level of like, how do other people control you? which sets up the like psychological horror of the ghost story that you're about to tell together.
Okay.
But it's cool. Like, you have to buy into it, but it's cool in a scary psychological horror kind of way. And I think if there were men playing the game, which I'm not against, like, I don't want to make that sound like, oh, men, but like, I think it would have been even cooler if it had been a group of all women. But anyway, do recommend you try it at least once, because it's fun and scary. And so, like, each one of you is playing a fraction of this bride's psyche, and I decided that I was playing the witch, which is supposed to be like sort of the more rebellious, like women who are smart or like ambitious or whatever are witches, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I decided I was the hoe don't do it part of the part of the bride psyche, which everybody else was like totally bought in that I was going to be the only person who was like, this is a bad idea and we shouldn't do it, and be that like just that voice in your head that's like, hey, don't go down the dark alley, dipshit, and then you do anyway, which was fun as hell. And I can't wait to hear how that plays out. So like all of you play this, and then there are specific rules for how like up to 6 people share the narrative when all of you are literally playing one person.
Yeah. Okay.
But one of the I was talking about Shiver with Fear before I derailed to talk about other things. So when you, the player, are scared, or the GM of this game was like, because a couple people were like, I'm not really the sort of person who gets jumpy during a story, so like I may never actually be scared. And the GM was like, okay, well, then you should use this move and basically buzz in whenever you are excited about how fucked you are.
Okay.
Which is great, right? Like, that's so fantastic. So you basically, when you shiver with fear, you're basically like, whoa, I'm scared, or oh my god, we're so fucked. And you basically are like, I'm shivering with fear, and you like buzz in basically, and the GM stops and then asks you what you think is about to happen, and then makes it worse. That's how that, which is a fantastic ghost story move, right?
That's fucking great.
Yeah, isn't it though? So then that whole episode with Dee was talking about how can we learn from, and literally every move is just intended directly to get you to be scared and to like talk about things that are scary. And to direct all conversation towards things that will spook you. And then it was that whole episode was about like, how can we take the idea of rules that specifically direct conversation and port that over into something more traditional, like Exalted or like Storypath.
Okay.
And there's a whole bonus content where we actually design how to do that in Storypath. So become a patron and download that episode.
That sounds great. I can't wait to hear it. I hear you also ran some Exalted Essence playtests at Metatopia.
I did.
How'd that go?
I just finished reviewing the feedback forms.
Okay.
I think like, all right. So let me see what I can say without revealing too much on the air. So, generally, my impression overall is that we're at a pretty good place. There are some rough edges that still need to be buffed out, but they are not on a core system level. For example, I don't need to rewrite combat. Let me just put it that way, like, or social interactions. At worst, what those need to do is have perhaps a better run up to how to use them. Or like some sort of printable, like really digest version play aid that like.
Hang on. Sorry.
Okay.
For some reason, my headset is also connected to my phone. So my phone just rang and I didn't catch what you said because my headset was like, hey, your phone's ringing.
Oh, okay.
So you said like a printable and then cut out.
Oh, okay. Some sort of like play aid or like cheat sheet or something that you could print out or pull up on your PDF or whatever. This like, here is the super digest version of how we get to where we are. Like,
okay.
Some sort of guidance in the form of like cheat sheets or charm cards or summaries or whatever. Like, some sort of bridge between brand new person and a bunch of rules. Because while Essence is streamlined 3rd edition, it does not magically have like fate accelerated level rules. And I think if it did, it would be lacking something.
Mm-hmm.
So we are still firmly at our promise of like Chronicles of Darkness level of crunchy,
okay.
which has always been the stated case.
I mean, I guess even Fate Accelerated has like printable cheat sheets, so that's not
Yeah.
too tall of an order, I think.
Yeah. I just meant that, like, Fate Accelerated is always sort of a bad comparison, I think, because Fate Accelerated trims things down so much. Like, Fate Accelerated has, like, 4 rules.
Okay. It's not, no, okay. It's a little more than that.
It's a little more than that, but, like, it gets rid of the whole skill list, it breaks everything down into approaches, and then it's sort of just, like...
It massively simplifies stress and consequences.
Right, it's sort of like, here's, you know, here are all the... We basically rolled everything into these approaches, like... There's still stunts, but, like, everything is just sort of the, the 6 basic things. Create an advantage, overcome, attack, defend, the other 2.
Oh, the 4 options are...
Yeah.
Create, overcome, attack, and defend.
Attack and defend, right. Okay. For some reason, I thought there were 6. Right.
I don't know why you thought that.
I don't know why I thought that either. Hang on a second.
All right.
I am still technically working. Anyway, what was I talking about? Essence
playtests.
Right. So, I think it's just a matter of making approaching the information more clear. Because from my personal perspective, I think all the systems are exactly where I want them to be. I am not particularly interested in rearranging them at this point.
Yeah.
I think the only thing, like, that gives me some concern, but I'm not interested in changing the way it works, is that, like, what Essence does is present this really cool base framework that's very simple, right?
Yes.
Like, here's how this thing works. Boom. And then it's like, here's 10 more things you can add to it.
Right, kind of an a la carte. Like,
right.
If you wanted to do this, add this on.
Right. The whole thing is very a la carte. Like, here's the basics of combat. Here's 20 more things you can add to it.
Right,
Which,
yeah.
if you are trying to eat the buffet all at once, it's going to feel like too much. And what I discovered, because I intentionally ran a fight that was sort of too hard, because I wanted to see how that would happen, is that what happens there is that you actually need to know everything that's on the menu. So don't do that to people who are new.
I mean, yeah, okay.
And now there's a thing in the storytelling section that says don't do that to people who are new, because it's not like this fight is unwinnable. It's that you have to know what the tools in the toolbox are, right?
Right. It's going to be strategically advanced.
Right.
You have to really know the system.
Right. Which
kind of related, how easy is it to tune fights for people the way we have it all set up?
It's very easy. I think.
Is it easy going into it knowing, okay, this will be an easy fight. This will be a challenging fight. This will be an impossible fight.
Yeah. I think that's pretty straightforward. I have not gotten a chance, honestly, to test that too strenuously. I ran a test on Friday. I ran a test on Saturday. For my Saturday test, I used our rules and built antagonists from the ground up, because I always prefer to do that as opposed to take something out of the book. And that worked out great.
Good. Excellent.
And what I was like, so Friday I'm gonna use something straight out of the book. I'm gonna do something I know is too hard. I'm gonna see what happens. And then Saturday I was like, I'm gonna prove to myself that the system does in fact work, because I was feeling sort of bad about Friday.
Oh no.
And I'm like, no.
Can I know what you threw at them on Friday?
I think it was the Militant God, which is like a hardness 8.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really hard fight, but there were also 6 PCs. So
6 PCs had trouble with hardness 8, huh? That's exciting though.
They did, but in sort of a slow way, because they didn't know.
One of the things that was like always difficult for me with Exalted was getting into like trying to tune those encounters, feeling like, okay, this should be a difficult fight, and then just the whole thing getting blown out of the water.
Right. So 6 PCs had a hard time with hardness 8, but in a slow and kind of boring way, only because they just kept hammering at it, because they didn't know, like, reveal weakness, knockdown, knockback, like...
Right. They weren't, like, building power or using gambits or anything like that.
Like, build up your power, start using gambits, debuff it, like, because there's a ton of debuff options.
Yeah.
So, like, pretty much what I learned from that is... if you want to throw something really powerful like that right out the gate, everybody has to understand the tactical depth of that, right? Like,
right.
And so what it turned into was a grind, and I think people didn't really have a good time, and I was disappointed in that, but, like, that's why you test things that are too hard. It was a playtest, not a demo.
Right.
And then I was sort of feeling bad about it, and I was like, no, I know this system works. I know it works really well. I'm gonna do something that I think is perfectly balanced for their threat level, for Saturday. And I did, and it was awesome.
Hey,
so...
all right. All right, so that's 2 successful tests.
Yes.
Like you tested what happens when it's way too hard and impossible, and you're like, it's not fun, so we need to make sure to put something in the book about don't do that.
Right.
And what happens when you try to do it perfectly, and the answer is it's great.
The answer is it's great, yeah.
So always do it perfectly. That's what we have. Good thing we have a story guide teller section.
Good thing there's a whole section that tells you how to run the fucking game.
How novel.
How novel. Yeah, there were some complaints that I rolled my eyes at. People were like, I didn't like my pre-gen. I'm like, all right, sorry.
Okay, that's not okay. That's nothing. That's a nothing complaint. Yeah, I guess if you have any complaint and that's your only complaint, that's like, all right, cool. Yeah. That's great. That means we're doing everything right.
Shout out to the person who didn't like their pre-generated character. Shout out to the person who told me that this was an unfinished product.
Yes.
Yes. Also, shout out to the person who claimed there were exploitable loopholes and identified 0 of them. So,
God.
I could not have done this without the 3 of you.
Thank you for your expertise.
Thank you for your expertise. I appreciate it.
Thank you for helping nothing.
Couldn't have done it without you. Indispensable. So yes, the rest of it was all pretty good feedback. And I have already made some very minor changes to some presentation. Because one of the questions, because we did a sheet of questions, like a Google form of questions, and one of the things was like, hey, what did you find most intuitive? Because I definitely want to know, like, what we're doing good.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up question was, what did you struggle with? And then, what could we do to help? So I was mostly interested in, like, what people had a hard time grabbing onto, mm-hmm. and what they thought would be useful to help grab onto that. And there were some pretty good answers in there. A lot of people really want some kind of, like, cheat sheet, or hitting the mic with my face, some kind of cheat sheet, or printouts or play aids or whatever. They're like, well, that's always been on the docket, so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like probably the hardest, like, I think it's an extremely intuitive system, and I think it has a really slick, a la carte approach to everything you want from an Exalted game. Which,
yeah, it's a good survey of Exalted.
Right. So, like, because it's like, here's kind of everything you want from an Exalted game, take your pick, it winds up serving you an awful lot. Like, yeah, it's a lot of content, because it's basically like, here is a sampler tray of Exalted, which is still like a 10-course meal, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think what it needs is, like, begin here and introduce these things slowly. Like,
okay,
if you were playing this from the get-go, start right here, move on to this thing, move on to this thing, move on to this thing, gradually introduce rule after rule until you are comfortable with what you have in your toolbox, right? Like, because the GM also has to know all the tools in the toolbox. Right. And the interesting thing was that Neil ran 2 demos too, and he had not ever tried to run Essence before, except for the one we did on the stream.
Oh, okay.
Which was during first draft, so the rules had changed pretty notably.
Okay. So this is also a good test for, like, how do new GMs handle that?
Yes, it was. So that was pretty cool. And I know that the 2 of us screwed up rules. So, like, some of the feedback was like, I didn't understand this. And I was like, that's probably because one or both of us explained it badly. And also, like, I kept getting kind of low-key annoyed with people because there was a Discord, a secret Discord channel on the OPP Discord where we were holding all of this. And people were like, well, this rule's not there. And I'm like, yes, you have 7,000 words of a 40,000 word section. Shut up. You have a quick start overview of the rule set. No, the specific rules for extras are not in there. Sorry. This is supposed to help you understand how to get started, not like I'm not giving you
the whole thing.
I'm not giving you the whole book. I was not allowed to give you the whole. Besides, you weren't going to read the whole book for a 2-hour-long game anyway.
I don't know. Some super fans might have.
They were going to just take it home and then pile up the chat with a bunch of like, I don't like the way this is phrased on page 32. I know how this works.
Exalted thingies.
God, I love you, thingies.
Thingies.
Let's see. So yes, I had a bunch of solars.
Cool.
At least one of them had solar-specific charms, but all of them were starting levels. So, like, for most starting level characters, it's like, here's a pile of universals and one of your Exalt type charms.
And it doesn't help that a lot of the original solar charm kit got wrapped up into universals because solars had no flavor. Solars were just basic model Exalt.
Guy who's good at
whole
thing.
editions.
Yep.
Yeah, guy who's good at thing was their whole concept.
Yep. I mean, it's still kind of their whole concept, except I think we've made it pretty interesting at this point.
Thank you. I mean, yes, we have. Other people helped. I wrote some good charms for this game. All right, I'm gonna have to like circle back around to that later when we're not recording, I suppose. I've been playing D&D.
Okay.
I could talk about that for like a little bit.
Yeah, talk about that for a little bit, because I've been taking up a lot of air.
It's nice. I haven't talked to you in a while, and you know, there's been some stuff going down, and it's just like, can we just talk about games?
Did you miss the dorky sound of my voice?
Yeah. My husband's been running the Icewind Dale campaign over Roll20, and this is supposed to be the module that's like, everyone's like, oh, it's so hard, oh, it's so difficult, ooh, the GM's gonna have. He hasn't been having like any trouble with it. Like, he's doing a great job. So I don't know why everyone's like, it's so hard and complicated, but it, you know, it's great. And we have like the module specifically like made for Roll20, so it comes with, I didn't realize how robust the Roll20 D&D modules were. It comes with literally everything. It has all the maps, all the tokens, all the compendium entries. It has, and everything is already pre-programmed with the dynamic lighting, and it's just really well done. And we just pop in a Discord with the jukebox and queue up like some fucking Game of Thrones music, and we play Dudes in the Frozen Wasteland. It's been pretty great.
What are you playing character-wise?
I am playing a fighter warlock. She's only got one level in fighter specifically, so I could get great weapon fighting. And now I'm taking the rest in warlock. So like, I'm basically playing like a heavy melee warlock, which is, I'm really interested. I've had this build like sitting around for forever, and I'm really interested to try it out. We also have she's a human. Okay. I play humans in D&D because, you know, I like them. it's I don't know, it's weird. I can't explain it. I like playing humans. Because everyone else around me will play something wild. We have a Goliath rogue.
Okay.
He's like 10 feet tall.
Excellent.
He's very good at what he does. And his player uses a character voice every time. His player affects like this Cockney kind of like Skyrim level. It's very good.
That is very good.
Another guy is playing a Tabaxi. I think, did we ever get a clear idea of what Spence is playing? Is he just a straight paladin? Because he also has some roguey types. He's just a tricksy paladin is what he is. He's a Tabaxi paladin, so I guess, tabaxi, lawful tabaxi have their own, like, quirks about them. And since it's taking place in, like, the frozen north, it's like, do you want to be like a snow leopard? Yeah, I do. So he's, very fluffy and sweet and makes soup for everyone. What else do we have? We have a human barbarian who I think is going to multi-class into something late. No, he's a human fighter who's going to become a barbarian, I think. And then we have a shifter ranger who's a doom stalker or doom hunter, gloom facer.
Face gloomer.
The face gloomer.
Gloom stabber.
She's a raccoon shifter, so she's like a big chunky boy. It's I didn't realize that ranger subclass was so good. Like, she's constantly out damaging the rest of us. And so basically we have no pure spellcasters. We have no pure healers. We're going into this very difficult, like,
do it. We die like grown-ass adults.
Yes, it's been great. It's been really intriguing, and it's a little bleak, but like the way that the campaign is written and the way that G is running it, there's like these really like neatly paced little bright spots, so it doesn't feel like everything is frozen, we're all gonna die. It's like everything is frozen, we're all gonna die unless. So we're constantly bouncing from like unless to unless. Last session we fought a hag who was like eating people, and you know how
as one does.
Hags eat people, and it was like a cool moment of like everyone getting to kind of flex their personality or their moralities, because the hag like stops before we kill her to beg for her life and try to be like, listen, if you let me go, I'll give you this treasure and I won't eat anyone anymore. So it's everyone getting a chance to be like, all right, she's no longer fighting you. Do you still continue the fight? So we all got to flex our own versions of whether we pity her or whether because my character was like, oh, okay, if you feel remorse, then, lay down your weapon and bare your neck and I'll send you to the afterlife in a quick and painless way. like, all right, cool. I'm glad you feel remorse. I'm still going to execute you for your crimes. But yeah, it's been really great. I know everyone is like has got to have dipped their toe into Roll20 at this point, but if they haven't done the modules yet, which like are pretty pricey on the surface, but they literally come with everything you need to play the game. You don't have to build anything unless you're someone like me who loves to make custom macros. It's got like every art and sound and effect resource you could need. So this episode brought to you by Roll20.
If only.
Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, we probably could ask.
Hey.
Asking's free.
I think that's it. I've been playing... I was playing Pokemon for a little bit. I was doing a Nuzlocke run of Shield, having never played Shield before. So that was going great.
I was enjoying your tweets about it.
My first attempt, I got to the fire gym, got completely trashed, just decimated, had to start over. And then Ewan started getting, like, really into it. So Ewan's been like, when are we going back to it? Because I just beat all the gyms. So now I have to prepare for, like, the next, like, the semifinals or something, but also the story mode. And it's starting to really, like, it's starting to get grim. Like, there's Pokemon that I've had for a long time that have, like, died in a gym battle, and I'm like, how am I going to continue without that Pokemon? And Nuzlocke is a very interesting and fucked up way to play Pokemon. I don't think I recommend it to just everyone, but it definitely makes it harder.
I guess that
is for sure.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Have I been playing anything else?
Oh, and Destiny. There's a big Destiny content drop.
Yeah, I saw. I've seen your tweets about that too. It's
exciting. There's so many new space gays.
I don't remember the actual name of the game. We keep calling it the Kirby Friends game. We got the newest Kirby on the Switch, where Kirby can make friends with the enemies instead of just eating them.
I didn't know there was a new Kirby game.
I don't know that it's new. It's new-ish. It is the newest one. I don't know when it came out. Sometime this year, last year. But we wanted a multiplayer couch co-op game that required zero brain. And so we're playing Kirby, whatever, something friends, super friends, epic friends. It's literally like some adorable title like Kirby's Epic Friends or something like that.
Kirby Super Best Friend.
Kirby Super Best Friend Party Time Adventure. Where you it's literally Kirby and you can hit X and he holds up a heart and then he throws it at an enemy he could otherwise take a power from, and then they join his party.
He just throws it at him.
Yep.
Like,
and then they're like,
beans him with it.
Cool, we love you now, and then they join him. And you can also recruit mini bosses as your friend, and then you can play up to 4 people on the Switch, and everybody can play a member of the party.
That's adorable.
It is adorable, and it's a Kirby game, so it requires 2 brain cells. And I always feel somewhat chagrined when I screw up platforming in a Kirby game. Because he can just fly. There's no reason to ever fall off the level. And yet I have done it a few times. Everyone in the house is playing Hades.
I still don't have Hades yet.
I have not actually played it myself because I've already seen the entire game from H and Julia beating it a few times.
Right.
And it looks like a game that I would just get either lost in or frustrated by. So I was just like, the rest of you will play Hades for my entertainment. And it has been very entertaining. So I have been secondhand enjoying Hades. It is a very good game that I have not actually played myself. I miss Blaseball.
I don't know what the hell is going on in Blaseball anymore. I have completely lost the thread.
It's fine. The previous story arc ended. I think it kind of ended too quickly, but whatever. Some of that is because of the procedural generation.
Yeah.
There was a big climactic thing. The Crabs finally won a 3rd championship, which means they ascended, and now a new...
Yeah, I saw the Crabs ascended.
The Crabs ascended. The Monitor did, in fact, eat the bastard peanut nut god. Now there's a new villain, who is a coin who wants everything to be fair and equal. Which introduced the black hole and Sun 2 weather, which just gave and took away wins, which meant that like one like best out of 3 went to like 6 or 8 games or something like that. It was ridiculous because it just like, while the idea of the black hole and the sun were kind of funny, like mostly what it did was just make games take longer.
Wow, okay.
But these 2 weren't mixed in with all the other bullshit weather, so like all the permanent modifications everybody had like voted for were no longer in play.
Oh.
So that was kind of anticlimactic.
Huh. Well, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all. Well, and that was sort of the like coda on the end of the story. And it looks like, because you know how it had been in beta, and it looks like so now they're on a grand siesta, which is lasting at least 2 months. And it looks like they're gonna come back with the real version of the game.
Oh wow! Okay.
So, looks like they're maybe adding teams. I don't know.
Okay.
Or rearranging things. I don't know.
All right.
But coming up, they're doing every Tuesday they're doing exhibition matches where all the teams are totally rearranged by their coffee preferences. And it is called the Coffee Cup.
Of course. Okay.
with a bunch of guest teams. One of them is the game band, all turned into Blaseball players, complete with silly Blaseball player names.
That's awesome.
One of them is the like moderators of SIBR.
Yeah, I saw that they got their own team. They're like the Data Witches
the Data
or something.
Witches, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of them is the Wiki people.
Oh God, really?
There's basically 4 bonus teams. One's the game band, one's SIBR, I think one's the Wiki, and I think one's artists, which seems a little unfair.
There's a lot of artists.
Yes, exactly. That one I have a little bit of a problem with.
All right, well, it was fun for like the first month. Now I have no idea what's happening, and it's like every now and then I'll see Blaseball scroll by, and I'll go, "Good for them." Maybe when they come back with the release level, what's the word? When they come back with the release candidate?
Yeah, 1.0
or
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I also kind of hope that they like change some stuff, or add options for things to do with your coins, because once you max out everything, it's less fun to play.
It's just, watching numbers go up.
It's just watching numbers go up and making money that you can't spend on anything, and there's no point in hoarding it. You can buy a lot of votes and then have them not matter. For a while there, I was playing a little personal mini game where I made an account specifically just to earn coin, and then made sure I had enough coin at the end to flute a bunch of times, and then just give out votes to people.
Oh, that's sweet.
And be like, here's all the teams, because you can only kind of be on one team at a time on the website, but there's nothing stopping you from hopping around on teams on the Discord. And so there were a bunch of other teams that I thought were cool, but also you can only hang out in one team chat at a time on the Discord. So it was like, Moist Talkers, do you want 500 votes? Here you go. Breathmints, do you want 500 votes? Here you go. Fridays, here's 500 votes. Like, what are we doing? Here you go. And then I had way more fun being like the weird vote fairy than I ever had just playing for one team.
The vote fairy. Leaving votes under the pillow. Vote fairy.
Ding. So I feel like enjoying Blaseball is what you make it. And the less I cared about being involved in fandom shit, the better it got.
Yeah, the fandom's getting big and weird.
Yeah, it is.
Weird in a bad way.
It got big and weird fast.
Yeah.
It got big and weird real fast. And like any other big fandom, it's like, we now have BNFs, so that's cool.
We have BNFs, we have discourse.
Yep.
And now I am done.
Yep.
And now I leave.
Yeah. When people are arguing over the canonicity of things, I'm like, I'm done, because there actually isn't any.
Yeah, this is stupid. Bye.
Yeah, this is stupid. Bye. I'm gonna enjoy this on my own time, because the emergent narrative that I have created in my head from these random numbers and events is just as valid as anything else, because there is no canon. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been wanting to do an all-out Blaseball episode for a while, because I had some strong feelings about the way it played, but that was a while ago. And I don't know if I still feel the same way.
I feel like we just sort of distilled it down into the last 10 minutes.
We kind of did, yeah.
This was the Blaseball mini Super Best Friends episode.
Little mini Blaseball episode right there. Apparently I have to call my HR guy to talk about my pay rate if I want benefits. So that's cool.
Okay.
That's not going to be cool.
Well, I'm running out of battery life, so
I'm doing this at 3:00, but
it's as good a time as any to do the thing where we stop.
Yeah. We didn't do a mid-episode break.
Fuck. We'll get you next time. Swing around next time.
BXP is brought to you by the Misdirected Mark Network.
Bing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just listen to the Misdirected Mark. That's the flagship show. Cool.
That's it.
There we go.
I mean, okay, cool.
Streams
All right.
on Tuesdays, I think.
Monica.
Yes.
Where can they email us?
They can email us at bonusexpcast@gmail.com. By the way, we have someone interested in consulting with us on the design of their game. And
yeah.
They've given us $100, so we need to do that.
Follow us, subscribe to our Patreon. We have cool rewards tiers.
Yeah, if you give us $100
Patreon.com/BXPcast, right?
Yes, it is.
No.
I think.
It's Patreon.com/bonus experience?
I don't remember.
How do I not know this yet?
I don't know it either, but you can look up bonus experience just by searching on Patreon and you will find us.
I'll break it in. I'll edit it in. You'll hear BXP, you'll hear Patreon.com, and then my voice in a completely different
experience.
bonus experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Email us website, bxpcast.com.
Yes, correct.
Our Twitter.
At bonus expcast.
And your Twitter.
At Zenith Sun. And your Twitter.
No.
No?
I don't have an underscore anymore. Don't you? I almost did it. Ray W. Cole.
Hey. Underscores are for
chumps. And losers.
Is that it? Are we done?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Everybody get out.
Okay.
I'm so glad to be back.
Yeah, glad
I
to have
missed
you
you guys.
I missed you too.
Let's not have anything bad happen for at least another month so that I can record a bunch of episodes.
That would be nice.
Change it if you want to.
Change it if you want to.
Bonus Experience is written and produced by Monica and Ray, and edited by me, Margaret. The Bonus Experience logo and cover art were created by Nemo Studios. The Bonus Experience theme song is Reeves Nora's With the Light by Vanilla by Nature, and is here used under the attribution, non-commercial Creative Commons license. 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons is the best edition the line has seen yet, you not, at me. And thank you for listening.